Hello everyone, welcome to Money Chance Kids. Today I show the game played by Nikita and Artur, and this beautiful game complete in just 30 moves. And let's see how the game play. The game starts with the pawn to b4, and here you have the irregular opening. Then the black play e5. After this, bishop to b2, and the idea is to attack the pawn. So after this move, the black also just capture the pawn at b4. So after bishop capture, bishop takes b4 and the white takes b4, and then the knight to f6. Keep on develop and prepare to go for a short castling. Then the knight to c3 was played, and after this c6 from the black, and now the pawn to a3 trying to attack the bishop, and here the bishop just back to e7, and here this is the first 5 move, and the black has a slightly better position in this game. And the game continue with pawn to e3. Then the black go for a short castling. After this, knight to f3 keep on develop, and now the black push the pawn to d5 trying to control the center. And here the queen to b1 to the knight position, and here the black is still slightly better in this position. And the game continue with knight b to d7 trying to attack the bishop. There's another game that previously played by Ronald and Fred, where instead of moving the queen, the bishop to e2 was played. And with this move, the knight b to d7 continued to play and attack the bishop. And after this, the white just go for castling, and now the knight capture the bishop, then the knight capture it back. And here you have a very nice move where the black can use the bishop to go for a sacrifice and capture the pawn. And if you rook capture, then you have a queen to d6 and have attack the knight and fork the rook. For example, knight capture, then you use a rook capture, and now you can just play a queen to d6, and this queen will be attacking the knight. At the same time, we attack the rook, and this will be a fork, and you'll be winning a pawn in the exchange. So therefore, after capture the pawn at a3, the knight just capture c6, knight takes c6, and the knight is attacking the queen. And here, after pawn capture the knight, then rook capture the bishop, and now queen to e7 to attack the rook. And here the rook can just escape, such as move to a4, or you can just use the queen to protect the rook. And in the actual game, the queen to a1 to protect the rook, then bishop to f5, and here d3 was played, and this led to an equal game in 2011. So back to the position. In this game, queen b1 was played, and after this, the knight to b to d7 to attack the bishop. And here the bishop just capture the knight, and now the knight capture back again. And after this move, bishop e2 was played, and then the black play bishop to d6. And this is the first 5 move, and this position the black is slightly better in this game. Then the white continue to play a4, and now rook to e8. Then a5 trying to push forward and attack, and rook to b8 was played. After this, d4 from the white, and here you have a queen to c7, preparing to have the diagonal attack at the pawn h2. Then h3 was played, and now bishop to f5, trying to attack the pawn at c2 if the queen move away to protect the pawn. And after this, bishop d3 was played, trying to go for the exchange of the bishop, but the black just moved the bishop back to d7. And here, this is still the first 15 move, and the black is still slightly better in this position only. And then the game continued with the knight to e2, and h6 was played. Then the white go for a short castling, and now the queen to c8, now with the idea to have the bishop to attack the h3. And once the pawn capture and the queen, you just continue to capture, and you have a very strong attack at the h file. So therefore, you have to bring some idea to have more pieces to protect the pawn at h3, and also try to prevent the bishop to capture the pawn. And in the actual game, knight g3 was played, and after this, c5 from the black, and now c3 from the white to protect the pawn. So if you pawn capture and the pawn will just capture it back. Then the c takes d4, and now the c takes d4 and capture back the pawn. And here the bishop just capture the knight, and you see that if the pawn capture, and it will be overloaded as the pawn cannot protect the pawn, and this will lead the black to capture the free pawn at e3, and this pawn at f2 is overloaded to guard the 2 pieces. So in the actual game, bishop takes the knight, and after pawn capture, then the black will be winning a pawn in the exchange. After this, the rook to c1 continue to attack the queen, and here the queen just moved to e8 to a safe location, and the white continue to play rook to c7 with the idea to attack the pawn. And after this, bishop takes h3 was played, and this idea again attacking the pawn with this pawn again overloaded. If you capture the pawn, the rook also can capture the knight. So in the actual game, bishop takes the pawn, and after this, if you use the pawn to capture the bishop, then you can have the rook to capture the knight, and after this, you can continue to attack with the queen. You can continue to play such as a queen continue to play e3, attack the bishop, and the rook can continue to attack the pawn and check the king. And also if the queen comes to e3, you also able to check the king. And with this check, the queen will be able to win the bishop easily. So if the king goes to g2 to protect the pawn, then the queen will just go to e3, and you have the idea to attack the bishop, and the rook can attack the pawn at g3. And if you play a6 example move, then the rook can just go to f2 and check the king. And with this check, if the king just move to any of these moves, such as king to h1, then the queen can just continue to play queen f3 and check the king. And with this check, nothing much the white can do. And the only way to move to g1, you have a queen to g2 checkmate. So back to this position. If you play something like queen to f1, protect the pawn and protect the knight, then the rook can just play rook to c8. And if you just move the rook a to c1 to double up, then the rook can just capture, and the rook just capture. And in this position, the black still better in this game, as after queen to b8 to attack the rook and protect the pawn. And here the white still cannot take the shot, and it's being double attacked from the black. If you capture the bishop, then the rook will be captured. And if the rook move away, such as move to c3, then at this position you can play the knight to e4, continue to attack the rook and also attack the pawn at g3, and the bishop cannot capture because it's being pinned by the rook. So at this move, the black will have a decisive advantage in the attacking. So back to this position. In the actual game, after bishop capture the pawn, the rook takes the b7 pawn, and this is a tactical blunder which causes the black to win the game. And after this move, the black just capture the rook, then the queen continue to capture the rook, and now the rook capture the bishop and winning a piece in the exchange. So after this move, the knight goes to e5, continue to gain control of the center and attack the rook. And here we have the idea to attack the bishop as well. But however, in this position, the rook just capture the pawn that protect the knight, and now the knight need to move away. And after this move, the knight continue to play knight c6 and continue to attack back the rook. But at this moment, you have the queen to e3 and check the king, and with this check, the king need to move away and the rook is free to escape. So after queen to e3 check, then the white continue to play only have few moves as this. And if you choose to move such as king h1, then you will going to lose the game. and the black will be made in 4. For example, after bishop capture, check the king, and here if you capture back the bishop, then the rook to d2 continue to check the king. And if you move the king to h3, then now you have a king to e6 continue to check, and here nothing can block. And if you if you move the pawn to block the check, the queen will just capture and you'll be a checkmate. And if you move the king up to h4, the queen also can just play queen to g4, a checkmate. So back to the position. And if you choose to move the king to h1, then in this position the black also will be winning by playing capture the pawn. And if let's say if you don't take the bishop, if you move the king up, and after this move you can just move your knight, continue to check the king, and after check the king you have no place to move except to capture the bishop. And after capture the bishop, now you can just use your queen to continue to check. After queen check, then the king have to move either to h3 or h1, and you will be checkmate in the next move. For example, if your king move to h1, the queen will goes to h2 and checkmate. And if you move the king to h3, the queen will just go to h2 and checkmate again. So back to this position. After queen to e3 check, and in the actual game the king moved to h2, continue to attack the bishop, and now the knight goes to c4, and ideal to attack the knight. So after this move, the knight just go to e7 and check the king, and the king just move to h7 and to escape from the next check. Then in the actual game, the white thinks that the bishop can be captured as there's nothing to be a checkmate, and in the actual game the king just capture the bishop, and with this capture the black is winning the game and mate in the next 3 moves. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the black continue to play and checkmate in the next 3 moves. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the moves that the black play and win the move. And this move is called a decoy and also a pin tactic. with this move rook to h4, and this is a very nice rook sacrifice and to bring the king to a position where it is no good for the white. And at this position the pawn cannot capture the rook and is being pinned by the queen. So with this move the king cannot move to escape, and the only way to move this position is to capture with the king. The king capture the rook. After capture the rook, and now the black will continue to attack and win the game. For example, the queen can just go to g5 and check the king, and at this position the only way for the king to move is to play king to h3, and after this move queen to g to h5 check, and the king have no place to move in this position, and with this you have a very nice checkmate. And with this, thank you.